Good afternoon, everyone. This is Richard Burke, Executive Director of Western Liberty Network. It is February 11th at 1:03 in the afternoon, and that means it is time for the latest in Western Liberty Network series of Saturday Zoom trainings. Today, we're going to talk about how to create and use a candidate bio, which is going to be critical for the local nonpartisan elections that are taking place in both Oregon and Washington this year. In each state, there are approximately 3,500 local nonpartisan offices up for election. So this provides excellent opportunity for people to get involved in politics at a basic level. These races typically don't cost a lot of money. These races are typically winnable by knocking on all the doors in your district, and most of the districts are small enough where you can knock on all of the doors. And so it's a great opportunity to advance principles of limited government where you live. Before we go into that, we're going to go through some normal stuff. First of all, I will point out, as I always do, that Western Liberty Network is a 501c3 organization. And that means we do not endorse or oppose any candidate or political party, even the ones we train. And what we do is we provide basic training and political skills to limited government grassroots activists who can then use those skills in any way they deem fit. And so if any participants in this call make partisan statements, those statements are their own responsibility and do not necessarily reflect the view of Western Liberty Network. With that, I'm going to share the screen. And what you're going to see on the screen right now is Western Liberty Network's homepage. This is what you see when you go to westernlibertynetwork.org. And it's a little bit out of date because a week ago we had our big annual conference. And this is sort of advertising that conference. Later today, we'll have that replaced with photos from the conference. And then if you scroll down a little more, this talks about our Saturday training sessions. So if you go to our website, you'll always be able to see what is coming up. Big events like our conference and smaller weekly events like our Zoom sessions. And so we'll always have this up here. And if you're on the Zoom session now, you know you can log on by clicking here. If you have Zoom on your computer already, you'll go right into our sessions. And other things will make very easy for you. If you scroll down a little farther, you see different resources, discussions of previous conferences and events, and also copies of things. Like these are copies of slideshows presented at previous conferences on things like how to use social media in your campaign, how to use social media for lobbying, lots of different things. Here is, let me turn that off. Here is a previous speech from Senator Linthicum at a conference a couple years ago and some others. And there are just lots and lots of resources here. If you are interested in training, then go to the top and go to the training tab on westernlibertynetwork.org, and you will see resources that are available to you free of charge. The first part up top here talks about the kinds of training we provide. Go down a little farther, and you'll see companion training documents. These documents are meant to be provided along with live trainings, but they stand up on their own as well, and they're on a variety of different topics. And if you go down to the bottom here, you'll see one link where you can download all of our training documents with one link instead of having to click them all one at a time. Scroll down a little farther, and you will see recordings of our Saturday sessions. And there are a variety of topics. There are over 2 years worth of training sessions on here. And so between these videos and the downloaded documents, you can literally design your own training curriculum. They're not interactive, you know, you listen to the videos and you read the documents, and that's one of the reasons we do these Zoom meetings, to provide an interactive setting. But it does provide a lot of very good information. And if you decide you want to support Western Liberty Network and keep us in the field, you can click on Support WLN. And here you can make a one-time or a monthly automatic contribution. This is done via PayPal, so you know it's secure. And of course, since Western Liberty Network is a 501c3 organization, all contributions are fully tax deductible. So with that, I'm going to stop the share. And we're going to go on to the training. We have one live participant today, and that's Candy. Candy, why don't you talk a little bit about the position that your husband is running for and where you live?
My husband is running for Lapine Rural Fire Protection District in position 3. We live in Deschutes County between Sun River and Lapine.
And do you know about how many people live in that region?
I think they said the district covers about 25,000 people. Lapine has about 1,700, but there's some outlying because we're districts, of course, that are incorporated into that.
Sure. And
district.
Does everyone in your fire district vote for every commissioner seat, or is it done by zones?
No, they vote. It's just one district, so you can run for, and everybody in the district votes for every position in that district. There's 5 seats.
So it's at large.
Yes.
Okay, got it. I understand. Okay, well, if you're starting a campaign, a candidate bio is really a good place to start. And a candidate bio should be no more than 500 words. If you can get away with less, that's fantastic. But one of the reasons candidate bios are so valuable is because you use them for a lot of other things. Yes, you will want to have a bio that you can hand to somebody or email to somebody or put on your website. But based on your bio, you can break it down into parts. And one of the things you can do with a candidate biography is to create an elevator pitch. An elevator pitch is simply a 20 to 30-second speech that tells somebody you might be having a casual conversation with why they should vote for you. Sometimes elevator pitches can be delivered when you're standing in line at Dairy Queen to buy a hamburger. Sometimes they can be provided or offered when waiting for the bus, or if you're introducing yourself at a local meeting of the Kiwanis or Rotarian Club, those sorts of things. These are very quick, 20-second, no more than 30-second long statements as to why you are running and why you should be elected. And of course, you can pull most of the information for your elevator pitch off of your candidate bio. You can also use your candidate bio for such things as your website. You can use your candidate bio for any campaign YouTube videos you might want to make. If you're going to have any walking pieces, handouts, literature, that sort of thing, you're going to pull aspects of your candidate bio for that. It's really sort of a good central place for information that you can parse and dissect to move in a lot of ways. So doing a candidate biography is probably one of the most important first steps you can make. Another one, which is covered in a different training session, is a campaign plan. You should have a written campaign plan, no matter whether you're running opposed or unopposed, or if you are running for a large seat or a small seat. A campaign plan provides structure to your campaign. It gives it direction. And that is another thing that I would recommend you do on the training page of the westernliberdynetwork.org website. There are videos on developing a campaign plan, and there are download documents on developing a campaign plan. But that and putting together a candidate biography are probably some of the most important things that you can do. Candy, do you have any questions thus far?
Nope.
Okay. All right, very good. Now, it's worth talking about what the purpose of a candidate biography is. Your candidate biography is a profile about yourself, or in your case, the candidate, your husband in this case, or if you're watching this on a recording, it's about yourself. It lets you introduce yourself to the body politic and persuade voters that you are not only on the right side of whatever issues are there, but you're also the right person for the job. You should provide a story, a narrative in your biography that tells something about you as a person, not just facts, not just things that are on your resume, but they tell you about your person, about who you are as a person, and about your role in the community and what it is you want to do. The purpose of a candidate biography in the big picture is to help establish credibility and legitimacy for you as a candidate and you as a campaign. And of course, all of this is very important for voters to support you. Excuse me, I got something in my eye. Okay, if you're going to introduce yourself as a political candidate, who are you? Not just your name, but who are you that you should be considered for this particular position? You're going to want to talk about such things like how long you've lived in the community, if you live there a long time, or whether you have a family, how you're engaged with the community. Are you active in your son or daughter's school? Are you active in a service club? Are you part of the neighborhood watch? All of this makes a difference. Why have you chosen to live where you do? If you live there all your life, you can say that you love where you live. You visited other places and you want to be a part of this community. If you just come there, you can say that you were attracted to the community because of a number of good reasons. You're proud to be in the community. So even if you're new, you can say positive things to weave yourself in to the community fabric. It's also good to talk about what motivated you to run. What issue, if any, is it that compelled you to run for this position? For example, Candy, your husband's running for a position on the fire board. He might want to talk about how he was impacted, by recent fires, wildfires in the area, or some other experience that he had related to the position, which gave him sort of an emotional motive to run. Why is he running? Why is this position important to him? And Candy, if you have any questions along the lines here or any comments, please feel free to interrupt me. I love interactive things, and if you don't need to, that's fine, but I don't want you to feel inhibited. If you want to interrupt, please do. Another thing you want to do is to describe your personal experience. Now, when I ran for the Tualatin Valley Water District Board of Commissioners for the first time in 1999, I knew nothing about water. And, if you as a candidate, or Candy, your husband, if he knows something about fire and rescue operations, that's a bonus, but it's really not required. In Oregon, if you're 18 years old, you can run for office. Sometimes you're not even required to be of any certain age. Most of these organizations, fire and rescue districts, water districts, have staff that within the staff, they have technical knowledge and they can tell you what you need to know along those lines as things come up. But for these local boards that are elected, what they really want are people with common sense who can respond well to quality information and to make good judgments. The fact of the matter is, most of the people on most of the boards in Oregon are not experts in the field that is covered by their elected position. They're there as members of a self-governing community to use their common sense to make good policy decisions that staff implements, and staff provides technical information on the policy. So if you're describing your personal experience on a candidate bio, what you can do is you can feature situations where you've had to make decisions for organizations, or maybe you've been a manager for a company. And you can say things like, I've had some managerial experience, I've been in charge of X, Y, or Z, and I understand the need to make policy based on good information and common sense. That's something you can say if you as a candidate have no experience in the field that is related to the office that you're running for. That's what most people need. That's what's asked for in the position. And if you have that, that's enough. But if you do have experience in the field covered by the position you're running for, that's a plus. If, for example, Candy, if your husband was ever a firefighter, that's good to know. People respect that. If your husband was in the military and had to deal with different kinds of problems or natural disasters as a member of the National Guard, whatever the experience is, that is always a plus. You don't want to talk.
He was actually a volunteer firefighter for 7 years. I mean, he didn't even get paid for it. He loved it so much. He just did it. He volunteered for it. So
that's wonderful. So you can tack that on. People need to know that your husband or whoever is watching this as a candidate, that you respond to good information, that you want to use common sense, that you make good policy. But in your husband's case, Candy, running for a fire board position, having been a volunteer firefighter for 7 years, that definitely is something that should be in the candidate bio, and that's a definite plus. If you've done other things, if you've had relevant job titles, if you've been active in your community, if you've been a member of a service club or a civic organization, if you had a son or daughter in scouts that, you were an assistant scoutmaster or something like that, this is all wonderful stuff. If you've ever volunteered at a school or for the Salvation Army, it doesn't matter. This is all good things. And there are things that show the community that you are interested in the community, that you are vested in the community, and that you want to help it have a strong future. So, it's good to translate all of that into a narrative of why you're running for office and why you're the best person of the job. Don't, and in that light, don't just provide a laundry list of qualifications and accomplishment. Put them all or offer them all within the context of that narrative of why this position is important, why you want to run, and why you're the best person at the job. That is the narrative that you should have. And all of these things that you provide should feed into that. You're going to want to provide relevant details about yourself. You don't need to provide a lot, but just a little bit of personal information goes a long way. Let them know, if you have a family, that you have a family. Husband, wife, kids, dogs, horses, whatever it is. Let them know what you'd like to do. If you have a couple of videos, the classic three are always a picture in a formal setting in front of an American flag. Another one is always you and your family and your dog and a bicycle or a horse or whatever it is that you do to show that you have a well-rounded lifestyle. And the third picture in the classic setting is the candidate talking with, in your case, Candy, it might be a fire chief or somebody that suffered from a fire or something like that. Those are good photos to have, and they can be a part of your candidate bio. You can weave them in. You can use them on the website, but provide some details about yourself, your family, things you like to do, your hobbies, where, the nature in which you were brought up. For example, I was brought up in the Midwest, and so I like to say that folks in the Midwest have a good work ethic. Just something about yourself or the candidate that you are working for. Have you ever won any awards for civic participation or excellence in any way? Have you served in the military? Were you honorably discharged? Did you have any commendations? Include any endorsements you've secured. And if you are running for an office, I encourage you to seek endorsements from other office holders or business people or folks that are well known in the community. Those can be a part of your candidate bio as well. Use all of these things to sell yourself. You want to let people know that you care about the community, that you are interested in running because you want to help the community, and that you are the person who is the best suited for the position that you are running for. Those are the three things that make up the narrative of a candidate bio that all of this should feed into. Okay. One other thing is, one other thing about endorsements, it's great to say things about yourself, but if you can have other people say good things about you, it's even better. And another thing is that when you write a candidate bio, it should typically be in the first person, saying, I did this, I did that, rather than John did this and John did that, as if a third person were speaking. And one of the reasons it is really good to use first person is because, in previous, a while back, it didn't matter that much, but now it matters a lot more, because if you're going to be having a website or you're going to be doing any web work, first person references get better search hits than third person references. So if someone searches you, your website or your online material are going to be ranked higher in the search results if you use first person typically than if you use third person. So another element you want to discuss is what is it you want to accomplish? Again, you want to, the narrative of your biography, which should be no longer than 500 words. It's going to be, that you're running for a good reason. The job is important. You're running for that because you care about it and you're the best qualified. And one of the ways that you show this within this narrative, in addition to what I've already covered, is talk about what it is you want to do in the position. In the next 4 years, I think, Candy, the position that your husband's running for, unless he's filling a vacancy, is a 4-year position. What is it that he wants to accomplish in the next 4 years if he's elected to this board? What will his agenda be? Lay that out, because people, particularly voters, want to know what your vision is, what your plan is. So what is it that you want to accomplish? That should be a part of your candidate bio. And you can also talk about things that you've done in your life that would prepare you to work toward those accomplishments if elected to office. Take a stand on an issue and expand on it. What are your solutions or plans for tackling that issue? And how do your plans differ from those of your opponent? Or if you don't have an opponent, how do they differ from the way that the issue is currently being handled? Those kind of things let voters know that you're not only sincere, you're not only qualified, but you also have a vision. And it lets them know how you plan to realize that vision going ahead. What's in it for the voter? That should be part of it too. If you're elected, how will the voter benefit? In the case of a firefighter or a fire and rescue board, they'll be safer. Response times might be less. There'll be few destructive fires. Fires that do come will be responded to more quickly and dealt with more efficiently. All of those things could be what's in it for the voter. Let them know what the benefit is. In sales, there's a lot about features and benefits. In your candidate bio, you're going to talk about features, features of the candidate, why he or she is qualified, the fact that he or she is passionate about it, will work hard to do it, but also what the benefits are. Features, benefits. What are the benefits of electing so-and-so to any particular office? That's an important part of the candidate bio. You have to be concise. It's hard to get all of this in 500 words, but if you do it along that narrative arc that we've discussed, it can be a very powerful statement. So I've covered a lot of ground so far. Candy, do you have any thoughts or questions?
Sorry, I got muted there. No, I'm good. I'm just taking it all in.
Okay, very good, very good. Okay, then you might want to talk about a little bit what makes you the right person for the elected position. It could be that as a volunteer firefighter, Candy's husband, knows what the challenges are for a fire and rescue district from the front lines. That might be one thing. If you have not served in such a position and you're running for something, you can say that you've gone over the budget and you think it could be prioritized differently or whatever it is. What makes you the right person for the position? The issues, and if you don't have the background, what makes you the right person for the job? And it could be that you know the issues. How does your experience relate to the elected position? What skills can you apply toward your goals? We've said this before, but this puts it in a little bit of a different way. Back up your claims. This is a good place if you say, I'm, qualified for the job, have something to back it up. And if you don't have the real world experience, an endorsement. That could be another local office holder that says, yes, he's got the stuff to do this job. That's always very, very important. And then end your candidate statement on a strong note. Just be inspirational in your summary, be personal, be specific about the things you want to do. let them know that you're passionate about the position, that you think it's important, that you're the right person, but leave the reader knowing that you deserve their vote on election day. Okay, this is a lot of good information, and I haven't provided a lot of I haven't provided examples of candidate bios here because they're all over the web. They're everywhere. But you will come up with what is the best for yourself. Come up with a 500 word or less candidate bio. Have people look at it. Have people look at it for spelling errors, grammatical errors, whether it makes sense to them. If you are a candidate writing your own bio, or if you're married to a candidate or somebody like that, you might be too close to that person. And there might be things that make sense to you in the bio that you write that don't naturally follow for somebody that doesn't know you or the candidate you're working for as well. So have 2-3 people who you respect and who you think are intelligent. Take a look at your candidate bio. Have them comment on it for grammar, spelling, other accuracies, whether it flows into a narrative. Ask them what messages they get out of it, what they walk away from it, hearing or absorbing from your candidate bio, and then make adjustments. Once you have done that, and you're confident that you have a good candidate bio, don't be afraid to adjust it even during the campaign. If something comes up that you think is relevant, that you could tweak this or that, don't be afraid to do it. I like to say that candidate bios, you don't want the perfect to be the enemy of the good. So you want, a good candidate bio to be used, but don't be afraid to tweak it. Tweak it a little here, tweak it a little there. It's like writing a computer program. You can write a great computer program that works really well, but after people use it and it's on the market, you might want to add this feature, correct this thing, fix that tweak, whatever it is, and you're always going to try and improve it. But once you have a candidate bio, think about a campaign plan. And again, go to Western Liberty Network training tab, download the information on a campaign plan. And once you have a campaign plan and a candidate bio, then with regard to your media strategy, go to your campaign bio and start taking excerpts of it for the website, excerpts of it for a palm card that you can hand to people when you're knocking on doors, excerpts of it for a little trifold brochure that you can hand to people or have at meetings if there are any candidate debates or forums or anything like that. Have a nice laid out candidate bio with photographs that you can hand to the local newspaper. Or I think in Bend, it's KTVZ television, if they do a television spot on your race. And you're going to find this is incredibly useful. If you decide to do a video presentation on YouTube for voters to look at, you can use the candidate bio almost as an outline for your video presentation. So there's a lot you can do. And like I said, this isn't a very long training today, but this gives you the basics. And I'm going to send you a document I found on the web, which contains this information. I'm going to load it up right now. And you should have it on the chat window. How to write a candidate bio.pdf. And so Candy, you should be able to download that, and we'll have a version of this available on the website for people to download when we post the recording. So are there any other questions or any questions you have, Candy?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay. All right. Very good. I hope this was helpful. Was this helpful to you today?
Yes, it was. Thank you.
No problem. Well, with that, we're going to conclude this Zoom session. We did pretty well today. We got in and out in half an hour and covered a pretty good chunk of ground. And so we will be back next Saturday with another training. For more information, go to westernlibertynetwork.org. And if you want to talk to me directly, go to the organization tab, and you will see our phone number and the email link that you can reach me directly. So with that, I wish you a wonderful weekend. Enjoy the Super Bowl game, and God bless.